World is going a little crazy, says Trump as he meets Macron in Paris. U.S. President-elect Donald Trump on Saturday said that the world was a little crazy as he met President Emmanuel Macron in Paris ahead of the reopening of Notre Dame cathedral on his first international trip since his re-election. Is the writing on the wall for Syria's Bashar al-Assad? More than 13 years since Bashar al-Assad's security forces opened fire on protesters demanding democratic reforms, the Syrian president's grip on power may finally be weakening. U.S. man kills son. Burns body before telling cops it was horrible accident. A lawyer in the United States allegedly shot his 20-year-old son, burnt his body and then called the cops to tell them what he claimed was a horrible accident. Not our fight. Trump says U.S. shouldn't get involved in Syria conflict. President-elect Donald Trump said on Saturday the U.S. should not be involved in the conflict in Syria, where rebel forces are threatening the government of President Bashar al-Assad. Charles de Gaulle's famed World War II speech on show for first time. One of the most famous speeches in modern French history, General Charles de Gaulle's 1940 radio plea for France to resist the Nazi occupation, is set to go on display on Saturday for the first time. Syria rebels say encircling Damascus as government denies falling back. Earlier, a war monitor and Abdel Ghani said rebels were within 20 kilometers of Damascus as government forces fall back in the face of the offensive gathering even more momentum. Evade. Patriots launched. Rare audio of Russian jet dodging U.S. missiles. Amid the ongoing war between Ukraine and Russia, a rare audio recording of a Russian fighter jet evading Ukraine's Patriot air defense missiles has surfaced on social media. Can get me killed. U.S. man falsely linked to United Healthcare CEO murder. Quote tweeting it, Mr. Manarino asked, "How is this allowed? This can get me killed," emphasizing the potential consequences of such a mix-up. Motion to impeach South Korean president who imposed martial law fails. South Korean President Yoon Suk-yeol escaped impeachment Saturday over his brief declaration of martial law, after lawmakers from his ruling party boycotted a vote despite huge protests outside parliament. S.J. Shankar calls for vigorous, innovative, participative diplomacy. External Affairs Minister S.J. Shankar said the needle is moving towards the reality of negotiations rather than the continuation of the Russia-Ukraine war. Bangladesh visa rules eased for Pakistanis. Sparks concerns for India. Zia's party has historically kept closer ties with Pakistan, unlike Sheikh Hasina's Awami League, who had kept a more pro-India stance. There is growing uncertainty about Bangladesh's new diplomatic and political outlook as well. Car drove away at high speed. Explosion hits block of flats at The Hague. A three-story apartment block in The Hague partially collapsed Saturday after a fire and explosion, firefighters said, with first responders searching for people under the rubble. Australian woman who lost $1 million in scam recalls meeting criminal. A woman in Australia who lost over $1 million in an elaborate scam eerily came face-to-face with one of the criminals while she was vacationing in China with her husband. TikTok's future in the U.S. How Trump could impact it. With 170 million Americans using TikTok, this decision will sound the death knell for the app in one of its biggest markets. Watch. Birds react to 7.0 earthquake in Northern California. Earthquake in Northern California. The webcam footage at the Sacramento complex shows waterfowl foraging and wading in a wetland.